miss your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, welcome back, welcome back. I've got a very short video here that I wanted to record. It's called "The Man in the Manosphere: What Makes Them Join and Leave." Some of you actually might not be familiar with the Manosphere, but today you will learn a little bit about the Manosphere really quick. And I just wanted to educate you, and then maybe you can guard yourselves as gentlemen, guard your sons, your husband. Particularly be aware, more so be self-aware. I want you to be aware of what's going on out there. It's not all dooms and gloom. There are real reasons why people are attracted to what they are attracted to. Either we're talking about the manosphere or feminism or any of those kind of things. So there's an article right here on Forbes. It's through a study that I'm actually going to read, and then we'll come back and talk about it. There's an article. Is it on Forbes? I think it's on, let's see, this article is on Forbes. Exactly, it's on Forbes. So I'm actually going to read it, and then whatever you take of it, you take of it. I'll leave my small opinion here, and then we'll take it from there. But if you don't know what the manosphere is, it's a small, relatively small community of men on the internet, on blogs, on YouTube. Probably much more smaller than feminism, so there's no real competition here if you come down to it, considering just how society is set up as well. But this is the article by an expert, some psychologist, an article written by Mark Travers on Forbes, but it's basically referencing the study of a psychologist. So I'm just going to read, okay? The manosphere refers to a collection of websites, blogs, online forums, and communities focusing on men's rights, men's interests, and critiques of feminism. Just in case you're not aware, I started this channel back in October 2021 as my part of contribution to the conversation in the manosphere. At that time, I had a lot of pushbacks. Today, I have a much more balanced, perspective to it. I think a better balanced perspective to it, a more balanced perspective to it. So I still hold a lot of my strong opinions. I still hold that you need to work on yourself, either man or woman. Work on yourself. That's your best bet. Looking for communities online, because misery loves company. It's probably going to do maybe a short-term fix. A long-term fix requires you working on yourself. Anyway, so I'm going to continue reading. The manosphere is controversial and often criticized for promoting misogyny, toxic masculinity, and harmful stereotypes about both men and women. The manosphere largely consists of the following types of groups: men's rights activists. Such groups advocate for what they consider as men's rights and aim to address perceived discrimination against men in society. And then pickup artists. Number two, pickup artists. This community focuses on teaching men strategies to attract and seduce women, often emphasizing manipulation and psychological tactics to do so. And then you have the red pill men. You've probably heard me reference red pill a few times. I try not to, but sometimes I do. Red pill men are deriving its name from the movie The Matrix. This community believes in taking the red pill, or what is basically awakening to what adherents view as the true nature of gender dynamics and societal structures, which involves a critical view of feminism and reinforces traditional gender roles. So sometimes some people might just say the red pill is the truth and nothing but the truth. In theory, yes, but what we've seen them practice is not. They literally fantasize about a world that doesn't exist, as far as the community is concerned, And then you have the incels. So remember, the men rights activities which are usually silent. Pickup artists, they're so kind of loud because of young kids looking for ways to attract more women. And then red pill men, very loud because a lot of these people are operating from a place of pain and fear. And then incels, I I will say loud, because when I say loud, it's based off of what I consume too. My content that has ended up in my the content that I've ended up in my streams. So I want to be fair with that, you know. So the incels generally don't end up in my feeds, because I can't really engage the conversation too much. That usually means there's not much value I can offer them. Then, you know, just work on yourself. Same thing, right? So incels is the fourth one here according to this report. Involuntary celibates or incels are a subculture of men who feel they are unable to find romantic or sexual partners despite wanting them. Their group discussion are often rooted in feelings of frustration and resentment towards women. So kind of similar to red pill men in terms of incels. Are, you know, a lot of them are virgins, you know, very young kids, young men, you know. Now, here are two primary reasons why some men are drawn to the manosphere. Okay, number one, nursing heartbreak and recontextualizing rejection. So, if you are a person who is married to a person and you don't care about the fact that they're just human, there is I'm talking about, you're a woman married to a man and you don't really care outside of the fact that you're my husband, take care of your responsibility. If that person has experienced any form of what they consider to be heartbreak, right, either they admit it or they actually demonstrate it, they might end up in a manosphere for obvious reasons, right? Because their misery loves company. They're looking for people to align with their biases, with their thought process, or to confirm that they're not crazy, right? A 2023 study details the journey of radicalization and de-radicalization of ex-members of the manosphere. Based on accounts of users from two subreddits, Incel Exit and X Red Pill, that support such individuals in their exit process, right? Often users found themselves drawn to the manosphere as a result of experiencing romantic rejection and frustration within their dating lives, as well as grappling with feelings of masculine inadequacy. All right. So what I've found, what I've seen, observed myself, is also a lot of married men that went through a very nasty divorce, okay, or ex-married men. Such individuals often experience loneliness and low self-esteem, which were reinforced by the narratives of alpha and beta men in the manosphere. This dichotomy categorizes men into alphas, viewed as confident, assertive, and successful with women, and betas, who are portrayed as submissive, less successful, and more prone to rejection. This is why a lot of the conversation in the manosphere, I don't really see much difference than a very radicalized group of feminists that are hate men. Okay, and no, not all feminists hate men. I'm talking about the one that demonstrates behaviors that seems like they hate men. Okay. Outbreak. Some of you are feminists and you don't realize some of them exist like that. There are actually YouTube groups and YouTube influencers who are asking that all black babies be deleted. Okay. So if you've never heard that before and they call themselves feminists, then now you know. I know you might say, but that's not real feminist, but that's just what's existing. So imagine men that have experienced a woman who brought feminism into the home, and before they know it, their marriage is this scattered. Of course, that person cannot hear me and you, because now they resent the idea of feminism, right? Heartbreak and rejection can cause significant emotional distress, and men who feel hurt, confused, or angry might look for explanations and support under these circumstances. Those experiencing rejection might see themselves as beta and believe that adopting alpha traits would improve their success with women. Sounds like conversations that women in feminism will have. It's just the words have changed, right? Sounds like a bunch of hurt people looking just for a way to validate that they're not crazy. Okay. However, the alpha beta framework often perpetuates negative attitudes towards women, viewing them through a lens of competition and conquest rather than mutual respect and partnership. And you know, if you go into a marriage or a romantic relationship with the mindset of competition, you're going to fail. It's instant failure. It's just not going to work. It's like pointless, right? So, and that's often what happens. And I quote, for some users, the red pill was appealing after experiencing a difficult breakup or being cheated on, whereby such challenging personal experiences could be explained by the ideological belief that women are evolutionarily wired to cheat or manipulate men. Explains the author of the study, Joshua Thorburn. Thorburn found that manosphere narratives can also cause mental distress and reinforce a negative self-perception of being unattractive, right? Self-deprecation, right? Or too emotionally sensitive to appeal to women, encouraging users to embody the more cold and distant alpha archetype. Now, that's obviously negative because you're not an animal, you're not a lion, you're a human being. But it takes a while. Like I said, they are coming in and they are exiting. Okay, they go to the red pill rage, and some of them are exiting. Some of them metamorphosizes into something else that's just very confusing. Usually they end up just confused. Okay, some of them will exit and be like, okay, I need to. So if you're looking for an example, if you look at Hardly Initiated, I think Ryan has admitted to going through red pill rage and coming out, and then he's having these fantastic conversations that they're having over there these days. Well balanced, just looking to learn as opposed to getting stuck in a rage. And I quote, I had realized the real issue. I had nearly all the traits described about these so-called betas. That's what some of them will say. I understood that if I wanted to stand out, I needed to be cold, careless, and maybe even a little mean sometimes, and have many options with women and socially stand out. Because according to the red pill, that's what the female nature looks for. And I truly thought that, and that it made sense about what I failed with all the girls I fell in love with, one user shared. Now, it is true that if you're boring, a woman will not be attracted to you, not just a woman. A man will not want to be friends if you're boring, right? So now, boring is such a subjective, wide, vague thing. So it depends on where you're coming from, what we're talking about. Have you been spending most of your energy looking to attract more women? Then of course you might think you need to be cold. It's not about being cold, okay? It's about learning how to influence friends and win more friends. Number 2, the need for a support system. Okay, they talk about the reasons why people end up in manosphere, right? A relatively common radicalization pathway stems from men and boys seeking advice and help for the psychosocial challenges they face online. So if you're socially awkward, you can end up in this kind of position, which led them to manosphere figures who post videos offering motivational self-help and dating advice to this demographic. Many of these people stay inside the house posting videos all day long, meaning they're socially awkward themselves, especially since after COVID, it's gotten actually worse. But guess what? They're spitting game for you because you needed to hear what they're saying if you are this kind of man, right? Notably, such videos could offer misguidance to users facing significant personal difficulties. Thorburn writes, some men might struggle with understanding their role in modern society amidst evolving gender norms. Men who feel isolated or struggle to form meaningful connections might also turn to online communities for camaraderie and a sense of belonging. I think it's camaraderie, right? Anyway, Thorburn found that experiencing traumatic childhood events and being at a younger and more impressionable age can also influence radicalization into the manosphere. That's very true. I heard a 21-year-old kid talking on one of the platforms yesterday. I was like, oh, poor heart. He's still getting through it. He's still talking about, because he found Kevin Samuels when he was 17, 18, and he could relate with the dragging of women when Kevin Samuels started to basically hold women accountable. And some of them, they didn't realize that Kevin Samuels started off holding men accountable, right? So, problems. The manosphere steps in to provide this sense of identity and purpose, emphasizing traditional masculinity as the solution. Manosphere communities also function as echo chambers, yes, for obvious reasons, where members share similar stories and ideas, right? Reinforcing the belief that their experiences are part of a larger pattern, with moderators discouraging with moderators discouraging dissenting views. Okay, that's some of them. Some of the moderators are actually a part of the pain. How men can exit the manosphere. Once embedded in the manosphere, living can be challenging due to the strong sense of community and validation members receive. Exiting requires both personal reflection and external support. Absolutely, I agree with that. Stubborn and exiting depends on what you mean by exiting. I guess exiting in terms of the toxic part of the rage, right? Thorburn found that more than being exposed to counter narratives, deeper introspection and recognizing the negative impact these communities can have on one's mental health, relationships, and overall well-being led users to question their beliefs. For many users, the process of de-radicalization from the manosphere stemmed from a recognition that the ideologies they had subscribed to were either hurting themselves or others they deeply cared about. Thorburn writes, see, I discovered a long time ago that I couldn't go there and just be arguing. I needed to listen because people end up in communities for real life reasons. Either we're talking about feminism or manosphere, especially manosphere. Feminism is deeply rooted now. We're going decades. But manosphere is such a fresh thing that the best thing we can do is listen and not judge, right? We listen, we don't judge. Anyway, for some de-radicalized users, positive and compassionate experiences with women challenge the manosphere misogynistic tropes about women. Having female friends help them to learn to see the shared humanity and similarities between men and women. With this experience contradicting the manosphere depiction of women being predominantly malevolent and manipulative actors. Thurman continues. Finding alternative communities like X Red Pill, and I think this person is promoting this subreddit, can also act as a buffer to joining and becoming more deeply embedded in the manosphere. It is also essential for men to have access to professional mental health support and stronger support system within family, peers, and mentors that enhance their well-being and self-esteem. I don't think the manosphere is all the way negative. Some men were actually going through such a crazy situation that they needed something to pull them to that extreme before they come back to the balance, okay? And oftentimes we find situations where men might actually do the worst to themselves if they've gone through a heartbreak or something like that. And this ended up being a community of support for them until they heard somebody that their worry is at another level. And then they're like, wait, hold on. It's not that deep. I have a mother, I have a sister, I have like, you're crazy, stop, right? So it's just, who knows to what extent is what balance are we looking for here, right? Let me just tell you, if you're listening to this, it's really more about you. Your self-worth is what's going to save you. Nothing else is going to save you, okay? No community, no misery loves company. Community is going to save you. Users describe that the futility and inauthenticity at attempting to perform the facade of an imagined alpha-like masculinity was ultimately unsustainable, leading them to reassess their relationship with the red pill. Journeys away from the manosphere were just as much grounded in self-acceptance than anything else. Thorburn concludes, it is both possible and essential for men to question the manosphere and seek true sources of support that help them embrace their authentic selves, as the manosphere often reinforces their insecurities and harmful narratives about rejection. By considering diverse perspectives and realizing that feminism is not meant to harm them, but is instead a movement for gender equality. Some people will argue equity, right? Same potato, but we know what you mean, because both genders are not equal. But in terms of making sure that they have equal rights and equal access to what humans are supposed to have access to, either freedom, either we're talking about job rights or employment rights or just human rights, right? That's what it's about. But you know, the people that are also hateful, what do you call they have misogynistic, then you have what's the other word for women that hate men? I forgot now. It starts with M too. But anyway, those are not your friends. None of them are your friends, okay? Because we're meant to be together. Anyway, men can begin to appreciate themselves as they are rather than buying into the alpha mentality and create more fulfilling and genuine relationships with themselves and others. Okay, so I wanted to read that Forbes article. I wanted to read it just to it's very simple. Okay, work on yourself. Okay, but it's not exactly simple because people go through real pain. It's not exactly easy. People go through real pain. They end up in these communities, and then we try to shame them out. That's not gonna work either. We need to do some work in understanding how they got there in the first place, and then maybe you can then help. Okay, but getting stuck in a misery loves company position or community, either as a woman, I be as a man, as in like, screw these modern women. If that's your mindset 24/7, you're deceiving yourself, because at the end of the day, we as human beings, we like to face the truth, right? We like the idea of somebody being honest, but we also like to fantasize. Okay, we fantasize particularly because maybe we've been conditioned to fantasize about certain things that are not reality. That's what makes up the whole human experience. So the idea of just strictly being cold is unrealistic, because if you could do that, you would have done it from day one. You fell in love because you're a human being, and now if it didn't work out, sorry, but it's time to pick up the pieces and continue to live life like you love yourself. Okay, but I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about this write-up, right? Do you think it's justified, or you think it's BS? If you think it's BS, put a BX as a zero in the chat. Don't put BS. Put BX as a chat. If you think it's authentic and there's some things here, I want you to put that also. But I want you to give me your nuances in the comment section. I want you to know, what do you think about this? And what should we do about it? Because you have brothers. If you're a woman, you have brothers, you have sons, you have children. And if you're a man, you have sisters, you have a wife, and you still love to have some of that papers, right? So let's just stop deceiving ourselves. But let me know what your thoughts are. That's all I have for you really quickly on a fresh Sunday. I will see you guys very, very soon. Very, very soon. Take care. Bye now.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.